I still believe in business cards. I think that they are something that people get a feeling for you straight away. People forget your name, but people don't forget your card, and they'll keep the card if it looks good. I think in the future, if they don't understand that having something that you can't trademark because AI will probably give that idea to 100 other people, that's not yours.
Fonts versus colors, like which one's more important for you in a brand?
Typography is everything. Typography makes the difference between when a brand looks poorly done and when a brand looks brilliant.
I am very excited to talk to you about all things branding.
Yeah.
And again, maybe I want to start by asking you what got into this journey of being a brand designer.
So my journey is probably a little bit unique in that when I was a kid, I decided when I was 13 that I wanted to be a graphic designer and own my own business. I was 13.
Wow.
And so I literally crafted all my subject choices around it and studied towards that from a child.
I love the clarity at a 13-year-old.
That's weird, I know.
And that's amazing. Like you thought that at 13 and you're still doing that and you love that.
Yes.
So brilliant and very inspired by that clarity of thought there for sure.
I do find it weird that people don't know what they want to do. So
all I can think was I was thinking astronauts.
I think I might be the weird one. But yeah, I really did know. And so everything I did, even my mum would tease me when I was 2, I would cut out the pressure cookers in the pressure cooker book exactly in the right shape. So I was preparing young.
That's very nice, because when I think about what I wanted to do at 13, it's all random things. I wanted to be an astronaut.
Yes.
I wanted to be an actress one day. And I wanted to be a model. And I'm doing none of that today. So.
Yeah, it's a slightly unique situation. But I really wanted to be that. And my dad helped me make that happen.
That's really nice. Love that you had that support around you to do that.
Yeah, Mum and Dad were amazing. They never, ever faltered. Dad even back in the day brought out the yellow pages and went to find me a design college so that I didn't have to go to uni and do arts because I didn't get into design, because where I come from there was no design program in the arts process. So when you apply for uni, you don't have the right, things in your folio to get into design. So I got into arts because I had a tremendous arts portfolio, but I couldn't get into design. And I'm like, Dad, I want to do design. So he found me in an art college and off I went.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love a dad like that, for sure. But today you work and specialize as a brand designer, which is more strategic. It's not just the visuals, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
How did you get into that, and what draws you towards it?
I think when you've learned design principles and you've learned space and shape and design and typography, you learn what your clients need in terms of their target market and depending on the genre, who they're looking at and what they need and what they're trying to achieve, and you're bringing everything together in a holistic approach to make sure that the strategy is right, but also the look and feel and target audience is right. Sure.
And because what I've seen is like most business owners, especially the small to medium sized business, kind of think of a brand as a logo and not beyond that. Yeah. Do you see that as a misconception?
Yeah, I mean, if you obviously need to start with your brand identity in terms of a logo.
Sure.
But that is only the initial part to your brand. Your brand extends across every touch point that people see you in, whether that be the first introduction with a business card or your email signature or the way your website looks and or your social media, people with their cars and banners and, even wallpaper and all the things that people have in their business that are touch points for people to recognize them and see them and make sure that it's cohesive and the colors flow through everything, the typography matches through everything. So it's a really holistic approach to a brand, not just your logo.
Sure. And I think because especially in today's digital world, it's so crowded. It is like there's so many brands around us all the time. It is so much more important for a brand to stand out. And I guess what you just mentioned is what's going to help a brand kind of like
Be seen and be recognized. I think making sure that whatever you are giving to a client or showing a client or presenting in any which way needs to ensure that they understand who you are. Even all those things leave a feeling with people, and that has to come through in the design as well. So when they're seeing your website, they need to feel who you are and know that you're either, a strong professional business or that you're a caring, loving business. It all has to play out across everything.
Sure, fair enough. This episode is sponsored by Finsol Insurance, where we help families protect what matters most: your health, your loved ones, and your lifestyle. Life is unpredictable, but your financial security shouldn't be. So if you're a parent, a homeowner, or just someone who values peace of mind, make sure that you are protected with the right protection. Use the link below to book a strategy call and take the first step towards securing your future. But for someone who's just starting out as a small business, are there some few tangible elements that they should consider that would help them make a bigger impact?
Yeah, I think ensuring that you have the basics are really important. I still believe in business cards. I think that they are something that people, get a feeling for you straight away. And, people forget your name, but people don't forget your card. And they'll keep the card if it looks good. And then they might even find it on their desk one day and go, I've been looking for that. And it sticks out and stands out. And I think a card is great. And another thing that is important to learn is your own social media. So learning social media, because you don't have to pay anyone to do it if you can do it well for you.
Sure.
So it's a great creative way to express yourself. Even if you're not a creative, if you learn it, even the basics, get someone like myself to, create templates and things that are a basic background for and platform and tile process to follow so that you can keep a consistent look to your social media, and then you can post and your business well. Like you're the one who loves and lives your business. So being able to write something for your business shouldn't be that hard.
Sure.
And you don't have to write a lot.
Yes.
But hopefully some of the work that, a designer can do with you, like myself, will inspire what you want to talk about.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, and that just really is a great, way to keep your costs down, but get a lot of brand presence.
Sure, and I've seen small businesses do that correctly as well. Like you can see it being more consistent in their social medias, and you can see maybe the same colors flowing through, the same feel coming out.
Yeah. Having a style guide for your brand really helps, so you know what your hex colors are, so that when you're mucking around in any program, that even if you're on a PC, obviously designers tend to work in Mac, but on a PC you might want to know your colors so you can use it in your documents. You can plug those colors in. It's not hard.
Sure.
So just learning those basics just keeps all the materials that you make consistent, making sure that your designer gives you those things.
I know. And I'm so glad that I've worked with you, because up until at that point in time, I thought that doing a brand or something is limited to doing a logo, and that's kind of where I was restricted in my brain. But then it opened up so much, and there's such a vast difference between just having a logo versus working on a brand.
Yeah, and knowing that, I've got this element. I like to create secondary branding elements for my clients so that they can use these elements in all parts of their projects that they're even creating themselves. If they are wanting to do things in PowerPoint, or if they're wanting to create a Word document, they've got all these little elements that actually help their documents look great and present the brand in a really cohesive, strong way.
Sure. And also makes a difference because now there is so many touch points for a brand. It's not just the website, but it's your social media, it's your email, it's so many elements. And
everything. And even, creating little animations for your social media with your logo or with your photography that you might take or your products that you might have. There's so much more that you can do now to be creative, and you've got tangible things to work with that will present your business well.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for opening our eyes to that, and especially opening my eyes to this world of branding. Because remember, when I came to you with my brand, I kind of literally came with the vision that, okay, Milenda, can you help me redo the logo? And then you said, yes, let's do that. And then you came up with so many different elements for it. That is such a beautiful collaboration. Firstly, thank you so much for helping out with
You're
that.
welcome.
I feel I love my brand now. I love everything, the way it looks. But are you able to maybe dive into the creative process that you had when I came to you? Like, what did you think about it?
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts? And
Well, it's sort of really easy with a brand like yours because you're doing something that is really, to me, really caring. You are ensuring that someone feels safe, that someone is protected, and that someone's going through their life journey, right? Which is how the circle of life became, part of my thinking process for you. We had a few different ideas. We did.
I also like the bird. I think which bird was it?
I can't think.
It wasn't the hummingbird. It was some.
It was the. Oh man.
I forgot it.
This is the brain fart. I was looking at it this morning.
But I think we both agreed on the circle of life.
Yeah.
And when you spoke about it, when you shared your creative process behind the circle of life, it resonated so much. I was like, yes, that's it. That's what I feel. That's what I believe.
Yeah. It was able to give you a sense of belonging to your own creative.
Yes.
Which is what I really love to give my clients, is the feeling that they have been a part of the journey, that they understand the rationale behind the logo, that they feel proud of the logo and the elements within the logo. Even the colours need to mean something. So I tend to go through a whole process where I research what colours mean, certain things that will make a difference to even someone's unconscious, visual of it. They don't know they feel a certain way about it, but there is rationale behind it that's subconscious. And I like to look at that and make sure that works for each client. And yours was beautifully selected with the blues and the greens and the whole meaning behind each one.
Sure. And it makes it feel warm, welcoming, and it gives that feel to the client as well. And I think the biggest one for me is that I couldn't articulate what my brand was for me as well. And when you did that, I was like, yes, that's it. That I hadn't even articulated that to you, but you actually got the message. You created something, and when you shared the thought process behind it, I was like, yes, that's it. That's what was going on in my head, which I couldn't bring out in words.
Yeah. And a lot of what I do, I think, because I've been doing it for decades now, becomes very intuitive. So I will sit with my clients, but I like to feel you and understand who you are as a person, and what comes from you is what inspires me.
Sure.
So it's sort of probably a little unique in itself as well. It's not necessarily all strategic. It's how I feel about you and how you make me feel, and what that creatively inspires.
Sure, absolutely. And I think I would 100% vouch that that's very unique, because sometimes people would just say, yeah, I'll do it. And it's just like another contract and a task that they take on board. But whereas you make it so much more personalized.
Feel it.
Exactly. And there's so much emotion that's coming out of it.
Yeah. Maybe that's because I've so lived and breathed it all my life that it has been something I wanted to do from a child, that it comes so naturally to want to feel the process rather than just do the process, and it be very strategic and structured. Even though that's a part of the journey, it's not the only part of the journey.
Yes, exactly. And then you helped us recreate everything, the look, the feel, and the brand, the logo, everything. And you gave us all the secondary elements, which I didn't know was going to come as part of it.
Yes. And a style guide, and something that, lets you know your colors and your typography, your fonts, because it's really important for you not to just have a logo and then go use 600 other fonts and make it look completely different. I think that's a big mistake people make.
Sure.
Is getting a logo and then being really restricted with using word fonts to go with it. Like we want to try and make the brand beautiful in every way.
Yes, exactly. And do you see that someone, even who's a small business, to invest in creating a brand, like, do you see that could add value to the brand, to the business?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what I do, and that's what I think, there'd be no way I'd say, no, don't create a brand.
But have you seen results when somebody...
Yeah, I think you probably even felt it yourself, the impact of someone seeing your brand now opposed to what it was, and how people probably feel you more and get that you are really that you care about your brand, for one.
Sure.
So they'll be interested and want to care too, and that they've got they're working with someone that is professional, really super important. That makes a massive difference. When you've got a logo that's just from, Etsy or some AI driven logo that is wow. Like I've seen some interesting results.
And you can tell, right? Like, that there's not much work, there's not much thought put behind that.
And really, I think you're not getting something bespoke, right? You're getting something that someone else can actually have. Sure. And there's no IP to that, your intellectual property.
Yeah.
If it's AI driven, you don't necessarily own it.
Right.
So that's a big problem that is going to flow through people's branding, I think, in the future, if they don't understand that having something that you can't trademark because AI will probably give that idea to 100 other people. That's not yours.
Sure.
And even the typography, wow. For me, typography is pretty much everything in a logo and across a brand. You've got all the other elements, but typography is one that if it's done poorly, it stands out dramatically. Sure. And so, I would highly recommend getting a designer to do it over AI.
100%. And I have personally seen the difference. Like, the previous logo that we had was obviously created by another friend, but that was at the very beginning, at the start of it. We didn't have so much of an input, so much of a thought. But now when I knew that, I know where I want to take my business, I want to want the business to look the way I want it to go in the direction it needs to. So that made a big difference.
Yeah, great. And, there's so much that people can do with their branding now, and there's so many ways to reach people that it is really important to have something impactful and that represents your business beautifully in whatever genre you are. It has to represent your business beautifully and brilliantly to attract people and make people want to be a part of your business, your process, your product, whatever it is you're selling.
Yeah. 100%. But for someone who's a smaller business, and they could have limited budgets as well, is this a big investment?
I think you need to obviously get the designer that you're working with to quote out the process and make sure it's something that you can afford. I mean, with me, I try to make sure that my years of knowledge are affordable.
Sure.
Because it's really important to be able to give back. And I find that the most creative I can be is with a new business. So I want that work.
Yes.
And I want to be able to create something fabulous for someone, give them an incredible head start into their new business journey. That means a lot. And so if I can help do that in a way that's affordable, I am privileged to do that.
Sure. That's amazing. And again, coming back to that personal experience that I've had and the journey we've shared, it was so much more like, again, I had the misconception that this could be something that's going to cost me like thousands. I probably am not ready for it, again, without even checking with anyone.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful that you helped comfort that and we broke down the process. I think we phased it out as well as to what we could do in phase 1.
Yeah.
We still to do phase 2, but again, that's a way we work together to align it with what
absolutely, and allow people to have the budget and the time to grow the business and grow the elements that they need. You know, just like when you buy a house, you don't have to have everything done at once. We build.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we can build the brand, which is important.
100%. And it's not one-off, right? It's evolving, it's changing.
Absolutely. I mean, most of the brands I've done, I've been able to give a company a brand that can last decades. So, you know, that's the difference between going somewhere that isn't specialised.
Yeah.
You know, you might pay hardly anything for it, but you're going to have to redo it.
Yes.
You're going to have to. You know, at some point, if your business lasts, you're going to have to. Whereas with my brands, many of my clients are entrepreneurial in style, so they are able to take my brand, create something massive with it, and sell it, and keep it as what it was originally created.
Wow.
Sell that brand, make a fortune, go make another brand, come back to me.
That's what you want, right? That's what you want for every client of yours. And hopefully we'll reach that one day as well.
Yeah, well, I've been in business 22 years. Cabria Design has been in business, and I have many clients that have come back to me over and over and over again with that process and that business style in mind, where they make a lot of money out of their business. They have a tangible business to sell that looks great, that people don't even change.
Right. Sure.
And then they start another one.
Brilliant. I think I am definitely keeping mine, and let's see how long what growth it can take.
Well, when you retire, it's a brand you can sell, isn't
100%, yes. But is there a time in the business when you think that where would you kind of pinpoint that it's time to rebrand or refresh the brand?
When it's looking tired, when the colours aren't working, when the typography is outdated, that's the best time to when people are looking at it and not really complimenting you anymore. Sure. You know, like you sort of know that it needs a refresh at that point. And a refresh or a rebrand doesn't have to be expensive. Sure. You know, especially when you talk to someone like me that actually cares.
Yes. And again, even the smallest or the biggest of brands do that time to time.
Yeah, you can evolve.
Yeah.
You know, like a brand doesn't necessarily have to have a complete overhaul. Evolving a brand and with slight tweaks can keep, and you don't even lose your market or recognition in the market if you do it well.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it actually is a good way to send out the message to the clients that, one, either the brand is growing, it's on the right path, or you care about it. And that's why you're making these changes to send out a better message to the market.
Yeah. And sometimes your mission changes and your vision changes. So with that comes this beautiful evolution of a brand.
Sure. I actually wanted to ask you, I know we spoke about the circle of life that you created for Pinsol, my brand. Would love for you as the designer to explain the meaning of that.
So I have brought that written down so that I can explain it properly and not have to use my memory. But as a part of the journey, you know, the circle of life became really evident to me that it was something that would represent your business really well, and how was I going to present the circle of life?
Yeah.
And I researched different ways I could do that and create that visually, but what it means, and I wanted to explain that to you so that you could feel married to your brand. So the circle of life is a symbolic representation of birth, survival, and death. Life is represented as a circle because it's a constant loop. Our lives from beginning to end resemble a complete full circle. No matter how big or small the circle is, it ends in the exact same way for everyone.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it gives you goosebumps, right?
It does.
You know, because it really represents what you are giving to people. You know, the process of being safe in all facets of life.
Yes. And in this circle of life, you're safe, you're protected, and you're looked after.
Yeah. Yeah. And in birth, in life, and in death.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it was beautiful because when you gave that message to me, I was like, yes, that's it. And I was so married to it.
Yeah, I could feel it in you. It was like it went into your heart and you were like, yeah, that is it.
That is
it. Yeah.
That is what I'm doing it for. Yeah. So thank you. And thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
I loved that. But before we wrap up, Milenda, I wanted to ask you some quick 3 questions.
Yep.
Milenda, are you able to share what the top 3 things are that any business owner, small or big, should know before they venture out on the journey of creating their brand?
I think it's really important for you as a business owner to know your audience, have a good understanding of what your vision and mission is for your brand. And what I often like to know personally is what you do and don't like in branding. Right. What colours you don't like, what colours you do like. And so when you're thinking about all of those things, you've got a really good brief to give a designer.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a good idea because you could kind of shortlist the brands that you like. So it gives you maybe a sneak peek into the head of what's going on inside the client's head.
Yeah, so understanding what they like and what they don't like is a sneak peek into a great process to start, a starting point.
Perfect. And any top 3 branding mistakes that you have seen?
I love it when I see the AI mistake. That's great, and also really bad typography. That's a massive no, and maybe just not the colours and the design not being aligned with the brand.
Right.
You know, when you've got colours that just don't make sense.
Yeah, like imagine I'd used red in my logo or something.
Yeah, it would just, you know, and colours that don't have any meaning, that don't give an impact to the brand. I think that's another mistake people make.
Sure. And I think the last question that I had, I think I already know the answer for, but I'd still ask you, is fonts versus colors. Like which one's more important for you in a brand?
Typography is everything. Typography makes the difference between when a brand looks poorly done and when a brand looks brilliant.
Right. So is every font kind of also going to give out a message or meaning to it?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like to do when I'm creating a brand is work with a font that will give the right message to the brand, but also something that I can turn into something a little unique for the client rather than it just being a typeface that people type out. Right. I had a client one day say to me, I need to make a change to something and I don't know the font, and it was for a wine label that I designed. Sure. And I said, that would be because it's not just a type font. I said,
Right.
I've crafted that piece of typography to make it special and unique for you.
That's beautiful.
So he was like, oh. He was like, oh, don't you just type things? I'm like, no.
Right, because even I didn't know that, because you create the fonts
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'll work with something that I feel represents it well and start there, and then I will craft that font into something special.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Milenda.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
so
welcome.
excited. And thank you for helping us rebrand my brand Finsol into
you're
this
welcome.
beautiful, warm, protective brand that's caring for people.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed it. It was an honor to make it for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.